So I think sometime last year, we saw a video by Vladimir Putin and he was condemning men participating in women's sports. And a lot of people criticized him. People said he's a psychopath. People said a bunch of horrible things about the man for making that statement. Now, today, it feels like America is going in the same direction. So should we all say everybody in America or everybody who's accepted this as psychopaths? Anyways, the video we're going to be checking out is Hallelujah. Piers Morgan praises ban on transgender athletes in women's sports. I'm ready to say this one. Brace yourselves, because Piers Morgan sometimes is very blunt and he's going to give it to you hot. I don't know what to expect because I haven't seen this video yet, but without wasting your time, let's get to it.
From London, welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. There's a common assumption that the world is inevitably going nuts. The list of books, brands, movies, songs, ideas, products, people and words deemed offensive grows ever longer. Those of us huddled together on the tiny island of common sense will be gradually submerged by the rising tide of lunacy until the two-spirit penguins are in charge of the zoo. But recently, I've been feeling the little green shoots of optimism. There's a recovery from Woklahoma. There's a growing
Woklahoma
dossier of evidence that actually most people don't think like these idiots and have had enough of all the woke nonsense. At the end of last week, Sebastian Coe, the president of the World Athletics Council, one of Britain's greatest athletes, made this announcement.
The council has agreed to exclude male to female transgender athletes who have been through male puberty from female world ranking competitions from March the 31st.
But why though? I thought people can identify with whatever they want to be. Are you trying to exclude some people? I mean, that's what it's feeling like, right? You can't do that. You can't. Let everybody participate in whatever they identify with, right?
Hallelujah. How's it taken this long?
Hallelujah.
Athletes born male with their bigger, stronger male bodies and superior muscle mass cannot compete against women fairly. It's just not equal. That's a victory for common sense. Last month, the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak startled me by saying this. The world's most controversial question, bizarrely, has become, what is a woman?
Yeah, of course I know what a woman is, an adult human female.
Incredible. That was a question that stumped Sir Keir Starmer, leader of the opposition.
You know what's crazy? I think yesterday I saw a video by Ben Shapiro, and I think it was in the Swedish government. He was reacting to a video from the Swedish parliament. I don't remember exactly, so don't quote me on that. And then they asked this man, what is a woman? He stuttered. He couldn't answer. What is a woman? That's what they asked him. He did not know what to answer. And he's in the government. He's leading people. That's the world we have circled into.
It stumped Supreme Court justices in America. It stumped poor old Nicola Sturgeon, who's now lost her job because she just couldn't work out what a woman is. A politician finally having the guts to actually say the obvious and not worry about being condemned immediately as a vicious bigot, because he's not. Another victory for common sense. The shocking case of Isla Bryson, a double rapist who transitioned to become a woman after reaching trial.
But I'm seeing something sticking out under their belts. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to call the wrong pronouns here, please. But I kind of see something. Don't you guys see what I'm saying?
And then demanded a place in a female prison where he would have been surrounded by people he could then attack, as he had done before, united the country in disbelief. Only Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister of Scotland, didn't get that memo.
Trans women are women, but in the prison context, there is no automatic right for a trans woman.
So there are contexts where a trans woman is not a woman?
No, there is circumstances in which a trans woman will be housed in the male.
I don't like when you're trying to sound politically right. You start stuttering, you start looking not genuine. You know, you don't want to do this to yourself. Just verbalize what you have in mind and say for real.
As an estate.
Excruciating to watch one of the most successful women in modern politics literally end her career by not being able to stand up for women's rights. And that complete failure of basic common sense led to her departure. Well, days later, one of the titans of British politics was on the political scrap heap. Isn't that a lesson for everybody else? If you go against common sense, eventually there will be a day of reckoning. This week, students at a US university have been protesting the decision to invite the state's governor, Glenn Youngkin, potentially one of the presidential candidates for next year, to make a speech. His crime is being a Republican. He's actually a reasonably moderate Republican. 6,000 of these snowflake students have signed the petition to stop him. But remarkably, instead of bowing to this juvenile mob who just want to sit in their little tank, talking to each other about the same things that they all agree on, as we've become accustomed to, they've gone ahead and invited him anyway. Another victory for common sense. And when reporters discovered that so-called sensitivity readers were purging...
You see what is going on now, we're seeing in the world. If you see countries in Africa are making up laws more and more now to not just LGBT community, even the homosexual community. African countries are putting jail times and even death sentences. And when we try to, or when you think about situations like this, you might think this is very extreme. But this flashes of small problems, this sprinkle of problems is what is causing these bigger problems. The case is, if you try to push someone so much to one side, when they react, they're going to push you all the way. It's like dragging a rubber band. When it returns, it's going all the way to this side. And that's what is happening. The world has been leaning so much to this inclusiveness, so much to things that defy common sense. And now people are like, oh, so now our brains are not good. Let's walk now. Let's show you that we are active, we have brains, and we can think for ourselves. And because of that, it's causing this rebellion. You know, it's no more like, there's no more middle area. It's kind of like we go all the way to the right or we go all the way to the left. And it's going to keep going like that. So that's what is going on in the world now.
In classic novels by Roald Dahl, Ian Fleming, Agatha Christie, and so on, cleansing them. Even Eden Blyton got brought into this, cleansing them of apparently upsetting content. The public said, no, shut up, stop this madness. We couldn't find anybody to come on this show to defend it. Finally, the penny's dropping. And then we have The Guardian, the global home of history bashing, logic-defying, virtue-signalling wokery, who've now had to issue a grovelling, massive front-page apology for itself for being a bunch of racists founded by somebody who employed slaves. Which even the most humorless, hard-nosed signalers of virtue have been forced to admit is actually very entertaining and amusing for the rest of us. And even Hollywood seems to be finally stirring too. Today, Jennifer Aniston lamented the fact publicly that many young people say Friends was offensive. The number of people saying, I can't believe it, but I actually agree with Piers Morgan, is reaching historic levels. It's getting very busy on Common Sense Island.
For the highest part, this man has been a rebel. Finally, he's having friends now.
A bigger boat.
Okay, yeah, that was a very good video. I don't disagree with most of the things he said. I don't even know if I disagree with anything, but listening to that just the first time, I believe it's a good start. You know, we're heading there. You know, because when you're pulling us too much to one side, there has to be some drawbacks. It's like people like Jordan Peterson. Over like the past maybe 5 years, we've been hearing the man more and more and more and more. Why do you think Jordan Peterson got popular on the social media in over, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years now? Why do you think? He's always been a psychologist. He's always been intelligent. He's always had his thoughts. He's always been speaking publicly. Why do you think he's more popular now? Because he's speaking what people want to hear. It's like this drag to one side is driving people crazy, and they need the other side. They want to hear what the other side has. And that's why people are leaning towards Ben Shapiro, leaning towards Candace Owens, leaning towards Piers Morgan, leaning towards Andrew Tate, leaning towards Jordan Peterson. Because people want to, like, they want to identify with something that sounds good to them. You know? So you see, whether you like it or not, the world is going to be fixed. We're not going to ruin this world. We're going to fix it. That's the end of this video. Let me know your thoughts. Share it in the comment section. Whether you want to correct anything I said, whether you want to smoke me, whether you want to smoke Piers Morgan, anything you want to do it in the comment section. We'll talk. If I find your comment reasonable enough, I'll respond to it. If it's not reasonable to respond to, I'm not going to respond to it. I'll just let you know. That being said, have a very wonderful day. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.